everyone. My name is Tony, and my background lies in cultural entrepreneurship, where I've done everything from performing for as little as a meal as a payment to reach the finals of Swedish Got Talent and travel the world. I created a film company because why the hell not? I got fucked over by the Swedish tax authority, went broke, and then came COVID, and I was now even more broke. But I didn't quit, and while it's been a bumpy road, it sure makes an interesting story. This is also partly why I'm here, because I love stories. When I got asked to hold this seminar, it wasn't clear to me what I should talk about. I mean, the subject is visual communication trends. But what does that even mean? And maybe more importantly, what does it mean to me? Now, here's my take on the subject. I have chosen 3 design philosophies that I practice. And then I quickly move on to 3 trends that I think are really present right now. So philosophy number 1, the fluke. I got asked in regards to this seminar what color I wanted for my presentation. I did not even hesitate. I said red. So why the color red? To be honest, simply by coincidence. I had just made a promo video for my firm that was using the color red as a theme. I believe that sometimes trends and designs are simply by coincidence. And then we then later give it meaning that fits our narrative. With that said, if someone were to ask me now why I choose the color red, and I wanted to sound like I know what I'm doing, then I would simply tell them it's because the color red helps me stick out. It draws the eye. I would then maybe segue my way into why the color red has this effect, but the truth is, it was just a fluke. And sometimes that's reason enough. Now, I would not advise you to leave the fluke to solve all your problems, but I do think it's healthy to leave a little room for flexibility and trust the process that not every little detail needs to be set in stone. In a sense, this maybe is a segue into my next point. Be brave enough to walk the opposite way. Number 2, walk the other way. If you don't risk anything, you won't win anything. I remember working with a musician, a rapper, for his music video. I wanted to do something different, go outside the norm of how rappers was being visualized. But I needed to sell my design. So I filled a bathtub with hot water surrounded by plants. And as the artist comes into the studio, I'm lying in the bathtub with my clothes on. And I asked the artist, do you strive to be lukewarm, generic, and forgettable? With a puzzled face, the artist says, no, of course not. I replied, good, neither do I. If you don't risk anything, you won't win anything. So it might be a good idea not to follow in everyone else's footsteps. If everyone is using the color blue, I would simply use the opposite color of the chart, which is orange. But going the other direction can be a big challenge when meeting a client. The way I see it, it's not necessarily my way or the highway. But when you challenge a client to be brave, I think that while they might not buy into your idea 100%, they're hopefully willing to meet you halfway and get interesting results. By the way, a good example of going the other way is just look what China's doing right now. China used to adapt the Western design and trends. Now they walk the opposite way. They are now super focused on bringing Chinese trends to the Western world instead. So, to my 3rd philosophy, be water, my friend, also in regards to China, Bruce Lee. Everything is moving super fast now, and we kind of have to keep up. If you can't adapt your design to different clients and scenarios, well, if you can, then it sure sounds like a smart way to go. Again, this might not always be a simple task, but sure, it sounds like it's worth it in my book. Imagine you're a tech company, and the color for tech, digital tech, has almost always been blue. But what happens if the color blue is out of fashion tomorrow? Do we stick with the color, or can we maybe adapt? Why not green or purple? You know, a fun fact, I just found out that the color purple/lavender is very trendy right now, but it's among the least liked colors among men. I thought that was interesting. Can we redesign an old look into something that works for today? Don't we see this in fashion? Take an old design, do some minor changes in order for it to fit today's narrative. I mean, just look at the seminar I'm doing right now. I deliberately try to design it to be flexible, to be used in different formats. Can we have it as a digital presentation? Can I maybe do it live at TEDx? Who knows? These are my 3 philosophies that I'm, presenting today. Obviously, there's a lot, but I also want to touch, where do we look for tomorrow's trends? And I strongly believe that today's culture drives tomorrow's trends. Since I come from Scandinavia, I will mainly speak about our culture. With this said, I think the philosophy is the same, regardless of your location. Look at the culture of today, and you will find the trends of tomorrow. Number 1, diversity. I Googled visual trends or visual design trends of 2022. And one of the first things that came up was inclusive visuals. The border between countries is becoming less and less prevalent, and culture seems to blend more and more. Here in the Western world, diversity is huge. We want inclusiveness. Emojis needs to have multiple options of colors so no one feels left out. Unidentified skin colors or the use of animals is also common to not make our audience feel left out. And it makes sense. There have never been time where there's more interaction between people from different places. Everyone is trying to reach as big of an audience as possible. So we need to include them. My second point, honesty and authenticity. Have you ever heard the attention span of your audience is super short? You only have 1 second to grab their attention. Well, I do think there's merit to this. I also think that this is only the first stage. Once we have our audience attention, we also quickly lose it. We have to keep them invested and willing to stay long enough for us to get our message through. There's never been a time with so much public access to information and for our customers to call bullshit. I think there's a reason why, for example, podcasts have exploded recently so much all over the world. It is usually honest and gives the audience time to get to know the real you. We even see this trend in banks here in Scandinavia. They build trust to be more personal with their clients. You get a dedicated person that is always there for you whenever you need something. And you no longer feel like you're just a number on the page. Now, my last point, sustainability. Sustainability has been super hot for quite some time now, and it doesn't seem to lose its grip. If anything, I think the green mindset will only grow bigger. Whether you believe in climate change or not, it's quite clear that it is important to a lot of people, and there is opportunity to be had regardless of your viewpoint on this issue. Here you see the color green or organic texture and shapes of the Mother Nature. Web designers are now even implementing grayscale functions to websites to offer their visitors a more eco-friendly option to browse their platforms. A lot of brands are even applying the green look, even if they don't have a sustainable policy, because this is the way to go. Now you might think to yourself, I thought this seminar was about visual design trends. And here is a dude talking about a lot of stuff surrounding the visuals. But here also lies my point. In order to see the whole, you have to take a step back to visualize the bigger picture, to find the design trends of tomorrow.